Welcome to our channel. Today we embark on a journey through the annals of history, encountering individuals who cast long, dark shadows upon the human story. These figures' ambitions and ruthlessness led to unimaginable suffering, their names still evoking dread and fascination. Join me as we delve into the lives of the 5 most dangerous people who have ever lived, exploring their motives, methods, and the devastating impact they had on the world.
First on our list, we encounter a man whose name has become synonymous with evil itself, Adolf Hitler. Born in a small Austrian town in 1889, Hitler rose from obscurity to become the dictator of Nazi Germany, his poisonous ideology plunging the world into the abyss of World War II.
Hitler's early years were marked by failure and resentment. Rejected by the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts, he drifted, developing a deep hatred for those he perceived as different, particularly Jews.
It was in the chaotic aftermath of the war that Hitler found his platform. Joining the fledgling Nazi Party, he quickly rose through its ranks, his fiery rhetoric and promises of national revival resonating with a population reeling from economic hardship and political instability.
The Nazi Party, fueled by Hitler's venomous ideology, grew in strength until in 1933, Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany. With chilling efficiency, he dismantled the fragile Weimar Republic, transforming Germany into a totalitarian state.
The world watched with growing unease as Hitler, consumed by his twisted vision, rearmed Germany, defying the Treaty of Versailles. He sought to create a greater German Reich, an empire built on the subjugation and extermination of entire peoples.
In 1939, Hitler unleashed his war machine, invading Poland and igniting the deadliest conflict in human history. Hitler's reign of terror finally came to an end in 1945 as Allied forces closed in on Berlin. Facing defeat and unwilling to face justice, Hitler took his own life in his underground bunker.
From the ruins of the Russian Empire emerged a figure as ruthless and unforgiving as the Siberian winter, Joseph Stalin. Born Iosif Vissarionovich Djugashvili in a small Georgian town in 1878, Stalin's path to power was paved with deceit, violence, and an unyielding thirst for control.
Unlike Hitler, who came from humble beginnings, Stalin's early life was steeped in the revolutionary fervor sweeping through Russia. A committed Bolshevik, he participated in bank robberies and other criminal activities to fund the party's underground operations, earning a reputation for ruthlessness and efficiency.
After the Bolsheviks seized power in the 1917 revolution, Stalin shrewdly navigated the treacherous corridors of Soviet politics, consolidating his power through a combination of cunning and brutality.
Stalin's reign of terror was marked by a series of brutal purges that decimated the ranks of the Communist Party, the military, and even ordinary citizens. Driven by paranoia and an insatiable lust for power, Stalin saw enemies everywhere, real and imagined.
Millions were arrested, tortured, and sent to labor camps in the Gulag archipelago, a vast network of prisons scattered across the frozen wastelands of Siberia.
The Great Purge, as it came to be known, reached its peak in the late 1930s, but the climate of fear and suspicion persisted throughout Stalin's reign. Beyond the purges, Stalin's policies led to widespread famine, particularly in Ukraine, where millions perished from starvation as a result of forced collectivization.
The Holodomor, as it is known in Ukraine, remains a deeply painful chapter in the country's history, a chilling testament to the human cost of Stalin's utopian ideology. Despite the horrors he inflicted upon his own people and the global instability he engendered, Stalin died in power in 1953, leaving behind a legacy of fear, repression, and unimaginable suffering.
Chapter 3. Genghis Khan, the Scourge of God. Our journey takes us now to the windswept steppes of Central Asia, where in the 12th century a leader emerged who would change the course of history, Genghis Khan. Born Temujin into a world of tribal warfare and shifting alliances, he rose from humble beginnings to unite the Mongol tribes and forge one of the largest contiguous empires the world has ever known.
Genghis Khan's world was one of constant struggle, where survival depended on strength, cunning, and an unwavering will. His early life was marked by hardship and tragedy. His father was poisoned by a rival clan, leaving Temujin and his family to fend for themselves in a brutal and unforgiving environment.
Through a combination of strategic brilliance, ruthlessness, and an uncanny ability to inspire loyalty, he united the fractious Mongol tribes under his banner. In 1206, at a gathering known as the cruelest, Temujin was proclaimed Genghis Khan, the great Khan of all Mongols.
Genghis Khan's armies, renowned for their horsemanship, archery, and military discipline, swept across the steppes like a whirlwind. They conquered vast territories, from the plains of China to the borders of Europe, leaving a trail of both destruction and cultural exchange in their wake.
Genghis Khan's brutality was legendary. He believed in instilling terror in the hearts of his enemies, and his conquests were often accompanied by acts of unimaginable cruelty.
However, he was also a shrewd ruler who understood the importance of administration and trade. He established a legal code, the Yasa, which promoted religious tolerance and established a system of meritocracy within his empire. Genghis Khan died in 1227, but his empire continued to expand under his successors, leaving an indelible mark on the course of world history.
Chapter 4. Pol Pot, the Killing Fields of Cambodia. Our journey through the darkest chapters of human history now takes us to the killing fields of Cambodia, where Pol Pot, the architect of one of the most horrific genocides of the 20th century, held sway. Born Saloth Sar in 1925, Pol Pot's transformation from a quiet student into one of history's most brutal dictators is a chilling tale of radical ideology, unchecked power, and the depths of human cruelty.
Pol Pot's early life provided few hints of the horrors he would later unleash. He excelled in his studies, eventually earning a scholarship to study radio electronics in Paris. It was in the intellectual ferment of 1950s Paris that Pol Pot encountered Marxist ideology, which would have a profound and ultimately destructive impact on his worldview.
The Vietnam War would prove to be a turning point in Cambodia's history and in Pol Pot's rise to power. As the conflict spilled over into Cambodia, the Khmer Rouge, fueled by North Vietnamese support and a potent mix of nationalist and communist rhetoric, gained strength. In 1975, the Khmer Rouge, led by Pol Pot, captured Phnom Penh, the Cambodian capital, and unleashed a reign of terror that would come to define the country for decades to come.
Pol Pot's vision for Cambodia was one of agrarian utopia, a society purged of Western influence and modern technology. To achieve this twisted vision, the Khmer Rouge embarked on a campaign of social engineering unparalleled in its brutality.
Cambodia under Pol Pot's rule became a giant labor camp where dissent was met with swift and brutal punishment. The Khmer Rouge, obsessed with ideological purity and fueled by paranoia, established a system of terror and repression that permeated every aspect of Cambodian society. Pol Pot's reign of terror finally came to an end in 1979 when Vietnam invaded Cambodia and drove the Khmer Rouge from power. Pol Pot died in 1998, never facing justice for the atrocities committed under his leadership. Chapter 5. Ivan the Terrible, the Tsar's Reign of Terror. Ivan IV, better known as Ivan the Terrible, ruled 16th century Russia with an iron fist. Born in 1530, Ivan's reign was marked by tragedy and paranoia.
Ivan ascended to the throne at 3 after his father, Vasily III, died. His early years were marked by violence as boyar families vied for control.
In 1547, at 16, Ivan IV was crowned Tsar of all Russia. His early reign held promise. He implemented reforms to modernize Russia.
But personal tragedies and military setbacks changed him. His wife Anastasia died in 1560, triggering his descent into madness.
In 1565, Ivan unleashed the Oprichnina, a period of state-sponsored terror. He divided Russia into the Oprichnina and the Zemshchina.
The Oprichniki, his personal guard, terrorized the population. They roamed the countryside, confiscating estates and murdering suspected enemies.
Ivan's reign of terror extended beyond the Oprichnina. He was prone to fits of rage and violence. In 1581, he killed his eldest son in a fit of anger. Ivan the Terrible died in 1584, leaving a legacy of autocracy and brutality. The individuals we have encountered on this journey through history represent the darkest aspects of human nature. Their stories are a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition, the seductive allure of ideology, and the fragility of civilization itself.
While their actions filled the world with unimaginable suffering, it is important to remember these events, not to glorify violence or hatred, but to learn from the mistakes of the past and to strive to create a more just and compassionate world.
By understanding the forces that led to these atrocities, we can better equip ourselves to confront the challenges of our own time and to prevent such horrors from happening again. Thank you for joining me on this journey through history's dark side. If you found this exploration insightful, please consider subscribing to our channel for more videos on history, culture, and the human condition.